Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. My name is Mike and this is the Resistance Bomber, one of the last Jedi sets for the upcoming movie. We've built this guy on a live stream, so if you want to check out the recording, there is a link below in the description. But right now we're gonna get into the review after this time lapse. The Resistance Bomber, at least for me, is one of the best looking ships in this wave. I'm not a big fan of the Last Jedi wave sets, to be honest with you, but I think the Bomber is standing out in terms of looks and actual quality of the set. I like the color combo. The ship itself looks some sort of like a mix-up with Nebulon B frigate maybe, and maybe a B-wing. Also, in my opinion, the name Bomber is not really fitting very well because it seems to be like a bigger class frigate or corvette ship with a full crew compartment. At least as you see on the trailer, it's much bigger than the fighters. The set gets you also 5 minifigures and a number of cool features I'm gonna go through right now. First off, there is the bombing function. It works pretty well. You can open one of the hatches at the top to load in the bombs, and those come in the form of those black spheres. I think that is the first time we get those pieces in black, and once the bombs are loaded into the bomb bay that goes along the entire lower hull of the entire ship, they stack up, and once done, you can just press this button to release one bomb at a time. I think it works pretty well. It has a nice click to it, so that you don't accidentally release 2 or more bombs at a time. Well, that's a function I really like. As we are close to the bombing bay, we can check out some other functions. You can see this gyroscopic turret at the bottom. It actually does level with the ship as you pick it up. That's a swivel right there. It's very easy to level. And this thing also levels with the ship. The same kind of like a B-wing cockpit. So there is one here, and there is also one at the very top of the hull, at the very end of the main hull, that does the same thing. I think that is a very good looking function and adds to this intimidating look of the entire vessel. Of course, these turrets open up, so there is space for the minifigure inside. The turrets right behind the main canopy turret are not linked, so that is kind of a bummer because I thought those guys would be, synergically operating along with the other turret. They don't. You can just position them the way you want. Those are, by the way, stud shooters, so there is some extra armament, but I really wished they were linked together to move them simultaneously. But let's also take a closer look at the looks of the ship on this side. You can see the color combo is still going. I like the breaks of blue and gray. Also, the stickers do a very good job on getting some plating detail right here. There is a small canopy for the gunner at the top. We're gonna get to that in a second, but the thing I really like a lot about this part is the engine build. There is one main engine here, and those are panels that are attached just the side of the hull to make up for the extra engine's look. I think this part especially looks awesome. I like this piping here and the details for the thrusters. I think that looks the best and must be one of the best looking parts of the entire ship. Those engine compartments are also holding one of the best hidden shooting functions I have seen so far. If you look closely, there is nothing visible, but there is an actual trigger for the hidden spring-loaded shooters. You can see them here in the front. You can see one here and the other one is on the other side. And the trigger is just this small grill piece that can be just pushed and can just disengage all those spring loaders. So that's one of the best hidden functions of that kind I've seen in a Star Wars set. And also right below the engines there is a small compartment to keep extra projectiles for those spring loaders. Now let's move to the interiors of the ship. First we have the cockpit, and this piece just comes off like that. It's a slide in function, and this has space for 2 minifigures. We have some consoles with those printed details that we've seen before in previous Star Wars sets. Place for the pilot, place for the gunner or commander in the back, and that's it for the cockpit. Then you can open up those hatch, that's the bombing hatch again, access for the bombing bay, and the thing in the back can just pop open and get removed with the entire canopy for the gunner seat. And this is actually one of the best looking interiors you would get in such set. There is a commander seat right here, some console with that, some details on the side, and also additional seat for the rear gunner that probably controls those cannons in the back. I think that's pretty nice, and I like the fact that this just closes off and you can have this canopy. The Fig just stands over and sees anything that is happening behind the ship. You can also pop it open and get the minifig without removing the whole panel. So that's pretty awesome, and that is again one of the best looking and best designed interiors you would expect in such a slim looking hull. To get a bit critical in terms of looks, however, I don't like the wings that we have added to the hull. I mean, those guys are a bit too thin for my liking, and they are connected in somewhat of a questionable way. I mean, you have those hinge connections like this thing here. There is a third point of connection in here, so that makes the wings of course not movable, which they're not supposed to, but at the same time they are very easy to accidentally snap off, and you will be seeing this happening quite often if you play with the set. So that is kind of a design flaw. I don't like this a lot, and that's the first point I really didn't like when I was building the set. I was wondering if they're like moving, some sort of holding function, but no, they're just supposed to be connected that way, but that makes them prone to just disconnecting. But we don't really know, maybe there is a actual function to make them look up like that, maybe folding for the hangar storage or things like that. We won't know until we actually see the movie and how these things are docked in their appropriate bases. Overall, I think the ship still looks good, and it is again one of the best sets of this wave, but what makes it really good set is the selection of minifigs. Let's check out those. 5 minifigs in this set, and what makes them special probably alone is the selection of helmets for the crew. Those are awesome, we're gonna get through them in a second, but first let's check out the first minifig, Vice Admiral Holdo. She is a new character in the Last Jedi movie. We don't know the role of her yet, but probably a high rank of course in the Resistance fleet, being a Vice Admiral in rank. She comes with a somewhat new purple piece for the hair. I like it a lot, and there is also a very simple printing for her outfit. Seems like some sort of a robe, maybe similar to the one that Mon Mothma is usually using when she is commanding the Resistance forces. Also, there is a small mold for her blaster pistol and two-face expressions that don't differ that much, but I think make the character unique. Poe Dameron is in his Resistance base jumpsuit, and I think that's the same one that we see him in the trailer of the Last Jedi movie. I like the details for printing for his harness, and also there's a small tag on his chest, maybe some sort of a Resistance emblem, I'm not really sure. The orange color just kind of reminds me of those NASA jumpsuits, maybe, and there is also this, again, small blaster pistol for his weapon. Two face expressions and kind of a simple looking hair for this guy, but well, I guess that's another Poe Dameron, so I'm glad we got an exclusive version of him in this set. This is Resistance Gunner Paige, a named character from the Last Jedi movie, and she gets a highly detailed print for her torso. The entire jumpsuit is really well done. This is the same one that we get in all the other guys for this set. And wow, this is a huge amount of details here. You can see the harness, some life support systems, all these kinds of cool stuff. There is even a pattern for her back of her jumpsuit. What makes her really cool is the helmet, of course. We get cool mold with white and black colors and details in red and blue. I like this checker pattern on her top of the helmet, and also the visor that makes it really cool looking again. Also there is another blaster pistol, that's a third one in this set, and two-face expressions for this character, but let's check out the other two. This is the Resistance Bomber pilot, and he finally gets a bigger weapon. That's some sort of a blaster rifle. Also the same print for his highly detailed jumpsuit with all the cool stuff on it. And the helmet is different, that's right, the mold is the same as the previous one, but we get this yellow stripes pattern and the Rebellion logo actually on his half of the helmet, some wording in the common language, and also the visor. Again, another great looking helmet for this guy that goes very well with his two-face expressions. Makes this guy one of the best looking pilots for Star Wars Lego ships I've seen in a while. And the last guy is the Bombardier, also a rifle in his hand, so that's a better weapon. Same print for his jumpsuit, but the helmet is really good looking. This is the green version, and I think the printing is the most intricate, the most detailed, and the coolest. You can see how much stuff is into it. There is the headset, also the Rebellion logo that we see on one of the halves. Some cool stuff, looks more like a military helmet. Maybe he's from the ground crew, just being a bombardier to target all those capital ships. Well, this is definitely the best helmet in this set. The face expressions match it perfectly. You have this bad guy look, and also another one that's very good looking, and that concludes the minifigs for this set. Overall, if you are okay with the prices for the Last Jedi sets, this one is an easy pickup. It's a good set with a good selection of minifigs, one of the most unique looking ships in the entire Resistance fleet, at least for me one of the best looking ones in this wave of the Last Jedi. I'm sure we're gonna be getting more, so then we can compare which one is the best looking, but the Resistance Bomber is standing strong with this massive silhouette, with some cool functions, especially the bombing one. And the turrets do add a lot of play features to that too. Well, if the price again is not a scare factor for you, you can pick it up, because remember, the price to piece ratio is still not the best. Okay. Alright, that is it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like and subscribe to the channel. My name is Mike, and I'll see you again on BrickVault.